So chapter 6 on gases starts out with this quote from James Maxwell, lived in the 1800s. So many of the properties of matter, especially when in the gaseous form, can be deduced from the hypothesis that their minute parts are in rapid motion, the velocity increasing with the temperature, that the precise nature of this motion becomes a subject of rational curiosity. So if I remember correctly, this section about breathing is in the older editions of the book, but not in the new one. But I really liked it, so I kept it in my slides. Have you ever thought about how breathing works? I mean, we breathe all the time, but, a lot of times we don't really stop and think about these everyday things. So you move about 8,500 liters, it's like 25 pounds of air, in and out of your lungs every day. And the reason that breathing works is your body can create pressure differences between the pressure of the air in your lungs and the pressure of the air outside. And that pressure difference is what causes air to move in and out of your lungs. So what is pressure? Well, pressure is the force exerted per unit area by the gas molecules as they strike the surfaces around them. So pressure can be defined as a force over an area, or F over A. So gas molecules, as you can imagine, are really, really small. They're mind-bogglingly small. And so when these things travel through, they don't travel through the air because they are the air. When they travel through space and hit a surface, they exert a force on that surface. It's a really, really tiny force. But there's a lot of these gas particles moving. And so just like one drop of rain is very small, and yet a good rainstorm can cause flooding, right? Because there are so many of those little drops of rain, it adds up. And so the pressure from all of these little tiny particles hitting a surface adds up and can be very significant. So the pressure of a gas depends on several different factors. Depends on how many gas particles are in a given volume. We don't usually talk about the concentration of a gas, but that really is what we're talking about here. How many gas particles are in a given volume? That's related to something like moles per liter, right? The volume of the container, the average speed of the gas particles. So what happens when you inhale is your lungs expand in volume. Because the volume has gotten larger with the same amount of gas inside, the pressure goes down. So we have a lower gas concentration, a lower pressure. The outside pressure is constant, and so that higher outside pressure causes air to flow into your lungs. And of course, the reverse happens when you exhale. You squeeze your lungs together using your diaphragm, causing the volume to be smaller. That increases the pressure. The outside pressure is the same, but now your inside pressure is higher than the outside pressure, and so the air goes out. So air in and out, in and out. Any questions about breathing? I think you've all been practicing, right?